Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. This will be part 2 on the FICM for Dan Health in California. This is a Sierra 2500 HD LLY, and the FICM was having problems with the normal faults. I think in his was P1293 and P1295, which is most common in these FICMs. Going on part 1, which I'm going to put the link on the description of this same video, so you can see the whole test that I performed for him and what I condemn, not just the actual capacitors and normal things and the drivers, which I always replace the drivers for all the ejectors, but also the pre-driver based on what my findings were. I'm going to show you, I did the test off camera to make this video not too long. Just give me 1 second. To not make this video too long, and I have a screen capture of the results, which is all perfect now after the repairs. All right, let me bring the screen capture. Right, so you guys are now seeing the screen. And let me open his folder. All right, so another thing is, yes, he did send me the incorrect bin. I'm going to read the bin number that I have on the paper, which at first it was 1GCH2934, and as we see in the picture, is 1GCHC. I figured it out. It wasn't really that much of a problem, but this is the correct bin. All right, so this is the test before the repairs, and I want you to see the red dots. So I'm moving my cursor so you can see where I am. I'm in the right side of the image where you can see the capacitors and everything in there. And we see red dots on the pre-driver right here. So we got faults on multiple of the injector drivers. And I told these to Dan, based on my finding, he might have also problems on the vehicle, either harness or injectors, and it will need to be corrected. And yeah, but that was my findings, and this is the test before repairs. And now this is a test after repairs. So as we see now, everything on the right side, again on the image right here, I'm going to zoom in here so you guys can see that one better now. We see all the dots now 100% green, and the last, that cross red, the red cross that you see here is the final on that test, which everything is now good. The image is always the same image because I saved this to use it as a template, and now is the maps and all the test points are in there. So that's why the image shows the all capacitors and so on, but that is not his. It's just what I use as a template. But yeah, I have the picture. Nope, I don't have the picture yet here. I don't think I put it, where I have all the parts removed, but that is, let me actually give me 1 second and I put that in there in here too. All right, so I got now the picture here so you guys can see, and so is Dan. Now all the components removed, and now in this picture I already have all the drivers, pre-driver installed, and I just have, one of the old ones in here and then the new capacitors before installation. All right, so this is pretty much everything I need to show here. I also want to show you, let me get the light here. Forgot to turn this light on. All right, so now you're looking at the actual FICM completely put together, and I have it connected, ready to go. So it is, I'm going to put the picoscope right here. The automotive is, it's not on. Give me 1 second. Just in the meantime, let me put you on the display. And that is in demo. Why is it in demo? All right, let me do that again. And all I'm trying to do here is just to prove that after the repairs, everything is functional. I did the curve tracer test, so everything should be good. So let me power this on. Consumption is perfect, not a problem. Let me bring this down on voltage and also in time, because that is going to change what we see here a lot better. Looks like I have, let me just see the voltages. I have the red channel as, so this is inverted. So let me change this because I have the low channel, I mean the high side and the wrong side. And that when I do the A minus B, it will be correctly. All right, so this is the normal capture that I do. I can even put a trigger if I want, which is none in here. That will help me stop the capture a little bit, right? So what I usually do here to do a decoding like I usually do, and I want to show you this on here, is I use a math channel and I use A minus B, which is what at the end what the transceivers inside the computer see in the code. All right, so after that I use a serial decode, and this is a CAN bus, but it's not a 500 and 500 kilobytes or kilobytes. I don't know exactly, but it's a 250. You see, Pico is very good in this. It picks up the speed. And now I leave everything else the same because 1.3 is a good threshold. The hysteresis I don't touch. I just click next, and then I leave in hex, and then now we have the decoding. This is, you can see also this on the first part. It's always going to be sending the same message ID, which is 18FF00F2. And that is just this module calling for somebody there, somebody there, somebody there, somebody there, until somebody responds. We see a little errors in here, like a CRC valid or so here. And this is because of the time frame that I have on the screen. If I up this a little more, we're going to have less errors. Why? Because there's more messages on the screen. You see how now the CRC are all valid? Well, that is exactly why, because I was just, and we'll see some errors here and there just because the way Pico is designed. So at the end of the screen, that message is cut, and that is going to be a CRC that is invalid because it's not a full message. That's all it is, but all messages are valid. So yes, this is a completely normal waveform. Everything is good here. I also want to say that with nothing connected except for powers and grounds in the communication, the amperage that I'm seeing in here is like around 230 milliamps, which is what this module with nothing connected as far as injectors or coming from any other thing will be drawing. All right. But yeah, so then your FICM is now 100% repair. I'm going to turn them off so you guys can see that that is indeed live data. And I'm going to turn it back on so we should see that communication established immediately, and it's exactly what is happening. All right, so this is just a test for the customers and also for show all of you there. I have a question from one of my YouTube viewers on how much I charge to replace the capacitors. I don't just replace the capacitor. I don't do that kind of work because that is not something I can warranty. This is why companies like the one in I think it's North Carolina or South Carolina, somewhere in there, charge so much or little. Why? Because they don't really do a good job. I apply a coat of protecting a water-resistant coat that will protect the board because this board comes very unprotected. I also replace, as I said, all the capacitors, all the injector drivers, diodes, etc. So this is not just the main capacitors. I replace all the capacitors, all the tantalums, all the diodes, etc. That are part of the what a module like this requires. Then like this, I can get my warranty. Why? Because I know that it's fully tested. I know it's fully working, and it's good to go. Yes, those are not a $200 repair, or I'm not really sure how much the other company charged, but yes, if you need prices on repairs, I need to have the module here. You can contact me for that. If you want, you can go into my website. Let me just show you this in 1 second. So this is my website, MikeSalazarDiagnostics.com. Yes, my name is spelled MAIC. In here, if you want to just chat with me, just click in here, the black button where I'm moving my hand right now, the mouse pointer. That black box that says click here to email us. You can click in there. That will open your email browser, and then you can start having a conversation with me. You can use the less chat button on the blue button on the right lower corner. That is a chat. If I don't respond, I'm not there. So please leave your email, and like that I can answer your questions. Or if he just wants to send a module, you can click on the white box, click here, fill this form to send a module. that will download in your computer a Word document where you can fill all the information as requested in there, your full name, address, etc., and then send the modules for repair. If you have any other modules or so that you need to send, I have created a list. This is also in the booking area, because this is not just a one-page website. You can click on Book Online, and that will open another page where you have also all these that you can request repairs, right? It always that it will be on the top. You can see the reviews, members, shop, etc. The home is always going to be the landing page, and that's what I also made these box in here, because some people were getting a little confused on how to send a module for repairs or not. I put the shipping address in there. If you scroll down, you will see more on the website, because this is a full website. I got pictures. I got, again, more on repairs. Fill this form to send a module, book a repair. So I tried to make it as easy as possible for all of you that want to send a module for repairs. If you keep scrolling down, I got pictures of repairs, then all the videos that I do, including Dan, that video right here on the left side. The first one is the last video I did on Dan testing the FICM. And then all the rest of the videos that I have done, will be automatically updated with the newest and the last video that I do. And then the contact form at the bottom, where you can see that I have my email, my telephone, and the shipping address. All right. That's it on this video. Thank you so much for visiting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye-bye.